For this next exercise, we are going to be improving the texture of skin. So the last one we removed blemishes, but this one we're kind of just going to refine her overall pore. So this one we're calling skin softening. So I'm going to open this up and I'm going to duplicate the layer twice. So Command J, Command J. The very first one I'm going to call soft, and the second layer I'm going to call texture. So for right now, I'm just going to turn off the texture layer and work on this soft layer. So with the soft layer selected, I'm going to go to filter and then blur, and I'm going to add a Gaussian blur. So with the little hand, we can see that I can click and drag, and I'm going to drag it to an area of her skin, and we can see how blurred this can be. So I want to get rid of any pores, but I don't want to go too extreme as well. So I'm going to go with like 7 and say okay. Now the problem with this though is that now it's blurring out like everything, and I don't want everything blurred out. I just want her skin to be blurred out. So I'm going to add a mask, but I'm going to hold down the Alt key while I'm making the mask over here. So I'm holding down Alt. I'm going to hit the mask icon, and notice that we have a black mask now. So nothing is being affected now. However, now when I come back with my paintbrush, and I'm just going to paint over her skin, and notice that I am just softening, and I want to make sure that I'm avoiding any details. I just want to brush over the skin. I'm just going to brush over her chin, a little bit down here. I'm going to get smaller and around her eyes and here. Again, I'm going to avoid anything. Now I want to feather out this layer, so I'm going to double click the mask and feather out my brush selections and say okay. See that over here. And now I want to bring some like texture back, because now she has like no pores at all. So I'm going to take the texture. And I accidentally made, I had the select, when I double clicked I had it set on create layer mask for current and make a new layer. So I'm going to delete this one. I accidentally made a second one. So I'm going to select the texture layer, and we're going to go through a couple different steps. Okay, for this one I am going to go to filter and then other, and then I'm going to hit high pass, and I'm going to change it to 1.0 and hit OK. Now it turns gray. And don't freak out. We're going to walk through some more steps. Next, I'm going to go to filter and noise. This is where I'm going to add the pores back in. And I'm going to say add noise. And I'm going to change it to 2, and I want to make sure that Gaussian and monochromatic are both selected, and hit OK. And now we can start seeing that there's texture back in there. And I'm going to hit OK. I'm now going to go to the blending mode and change it to, what did I say? Soft light. Okay, and now we have this texture here, but notice that the texture is affecting the entire image, and I really just want it to affect just her face. So holding down Alt, I'm going to select the mask over here and click and drag up, and then notice that it put that mask so that only, you know, in her skin area is this showing. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down Shift and select both these layers, and then hit the folder icon down here. So that grouped it together, and I'm going to call this folder smooth. And last but not least, I'm going to look at the before and the after. Now that's really drastic. There's a lot of missing details in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the smooth folder, and I'm just going to bring it back. I'm going to scale it back until it's a little bit more realistic. I don't want it to be so drastic. So again, I'm smoothing, but I don't want it to appear that I did it, you know, that drastically. And that looks good to me, and that's it for this one.